Hello, and welcome to the multiple hats of the business owner and leader, managing, delegating, coaching, and employee development. My name is Shirley Leonard. I'm an organizational development and human resources consultant and the owner of Pinnacle Organizational Performance Solutions, operating out of beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm delighted today to host this session on behalf of Project Gazelle. So today, let's explore the owner-leader day-to-day activities of managing, delegating, coaching, and developing your new employees. So you could look at it and say there's a different hat for each one of those activities. And in fact, in my office, as a reminder that I had to wear different hats with different employees, or even different hats with the same employee, depending upon what the situation was, I kept one of these in my office so that it was a reminder for me to not apply a one-size-fits-all approach to employees and to working with employees. So we know that the time of the authoritarian or dictator leader is mostly a thing of the past in our North American culture. The context of our business owners and leaders now is that the approach to getting the work done still through people calls for a wider scope of skills. But why? What's driving that shift? Well, my study of the research data indicates the major change in employee demographics is the catalyst. With more employees working past the age of 65, we are now experiencing 5 generations in the workplace. And each generation has its own preferred style of working, preferred communication methods, and how they want to be engaged, as well as how do they engage others. So that's just to name a few of the primary areas that our business leader flexes to meet the individual employees. The traditional pyramid is upside down, and the owner's role, that of directing the work of the business, now also reflects assessing and determining how to lead differently, hence the multiple hats. I think the other thing that needs to be brought into this changing demographic context is all of the diversity in the workplace. There is so much awareness, which is in alignment with societal changes that say our workplace is no longer homogeneous. So we have to be adaptable, flexible, and be able to meet all these different needs of our employees. So working with potentially 5 generations of employees in the workplace requires a self-aware leader who can envision, set direction, innovate and lead change, adapt to changing circumstances, engage and communicate, flex to those employee needs, and drive for results. Remember, we're still a business, even though another part of our business is getting the best out of people through the techniques that we're going to use that are very different to the old management styles. The research indicates that today's business leader who can lead, manage, delegate, coach, and develop others requires emotional intelligence, that of the self and of others, a focus on creating and assessing workplace culture. That's really huge. It always has been, but wasn't called culture before. The commitment to be curious, not judgmental, and to grow through his or her own continuous learning and development. So this might sound like a tall order for a small business owner, but remember, our own development as owners and leaders happens over the period of our own career, and we now accept the commitment, actually a responsibility, as well as the opportunity to influence and develop our new employee and the other employees within our business that are working for us. So we are there to influence and to grow the next set of leaders. Let's talk about the link between individual motivation to perform and the influence of workplace environment. I was recently asked for advice on how a very successful young female business owner could motivate her hourly paid employees. This woman is a go-getter. She exudes enthusiasm, energy, and there is no doubt that she is self-motivated. To my knowledge, motivation is intrinsic or internal to the individual. And no matter how hard I try, I cannot motivate another person, so that's external motivation, for very long, only a short period of time. But what we do have and what we can do is influence others and set the stage to build that enjoyable workplace where employees feel valued for their contributions, are doing meaningful work, are provided helpful and non-judgmental feedback regularly, and are self-motivated to achieve because they see the goals that are achieved are done with others, themselves as well, but usually through others as well. In other words, they are invested in the culture which the owner/leader has co-created with and through the employees. We know that providing a workplace environment that is free of bias, abuse, bullying, and harassment, in other words, a psychologically safe workplace, is essential for all individuals' emotional, mental, and physical well-being, and which directly affects individual performance and engagement. Your customers will experience their relationships with your business and your employees as positive when we create that enjoyable workplace. It is my experience that inclusivity, determining achievable expectations, providing effective feedback, offering learning and development opportunities, and appropriate, very, very important word, appropriate recognition are the foundational building blocks to satisfying and motivating work relationships. Despite all of the technological advances that are affecting how we do our work, and there's so much of it that is automated now, but we still remain human beings. We're not human doings. My approach to new employee success is to have that orientation period extend beyond the successful 3-month probation period, and instead, this is a year-long project for our business leader. This speaks to intentional effort and sufficient time to build a relationship that reflects both positive employee engagement with alignment of the business cultural norms. I segment those remaining 9 months of the employee's first year into 3-month blocks with specific and achievable tasks as described in that job description that I've talked about in the other videos. Together, the leader and our new employee gauge the employee's progress, both in his or her individual work and through the work of the team, and as necessary, identify course corrections that are timely. Doesn't do any good to talk about a course correction that's 6 months out of the gate, and we can't do anything about that at that point. It's way too late. With this approach, the leader determines when he or she is called upon, whether to coach, to manage, to delegate, to direct, or to inspire the employee. I find my own guidance as to which hat I need to wear at any given time is by asking curious questions of the employee through what I call co-creating mutual success. Why curious? Well, because if I'm not curious about what's going on, then I'm making assumptions. And assumptions are usually based upon judgment. And judgment always gets us into trouble in our relationships. So this co-creating mutual success is I achieve that or consistently through that remaining 9 months of that first year. I employ 10 repeatable and quite doable tasks. So they are, number 1, ask the employee for his or her feedback about progress and his or her experience of the business environment. Number 2, what opportunities might exist for improvement of the business based upon that employee's feedback. Whatever they're seeing, whatever they're experiencing, they've got an opinion on that. And we wanted that when we were recruiting for that person. Number 3, seek to understand. Do not assume what this employee's intrinsic and extrinsic motivators are. We need to ask them. Number 4, provide timely feedback about the employee's progress, recognition of goals achieved, and unique contributions made. Whether we're a Generation X or a Boomer generation, a Veteran generation, or a Gen Y, we all want feedback, but we want it in different ways. Number 5, problem solve impediments and barriers to unmet goals. Number 6, review completed training against that year-long learning and development plan that you created as part of the orientation plan. Number 7, co-create new goals that can be completed within that next 3-month block. And those new goals should be a combination of individual work, and here's a new one for you. It should encompass age diversity as part of that goal, which means pairing your new employee up with another employee from a different generation or some other element of diversity to help each other learn skills that are not of that person's generation. So we're trading and we're upskilling, and we don't need to go on a course to do that. We just need to talk to each other, and we just need to help each other. Number 8, adjust the learning and development plan as needed to facilitate skills and knowledge development needed for a specific project success. So if we're checking in every one of these 3-month increments, and they're doing different projects, hopefully they need different skill sets for each of those projects as well. So we need to help them learn whatever they don't know. Number 9, create a longer term, larger goal. We call that a stretch goal that can be completed within 6 months. I would recommend that 6-month period being the 6 to 12 months of that employee's first year, because by then they have gained enough skills, confidence, grown relationships, they're engaged enough that they have more ability and capacity, I think, to be able to work more diligently on that 6-month goal. Number 10, reinforce success. Celebrate small and large wins for the individual and for the team, as a team, which have direct links back to that employee culture that you so desire to create. So do you remember when you interviewed this individual and what you were looking for was potential? That potential was to grow that person into a capable and competent contributor to your business and grow success. This approach supports meeting that potential by building confidence, building capability, building capacity, building relationships both individually and within the teams and cross-functional teams, building increased focus and productivity, and building respect for your organization through the co-commitment between the business and the employee. As you contemplate the culture you have created and how to manage and develop your new employee and hopefully support his or her own intrinsic motivation to perform, ask yourself 5 questions. 1, how can I help this new employee develop to his or her full potential? Number 2, in the spirit of not assuming, your second question is, what does full potential look like for this individual? Maybe I should ask that person. Number 3, how will I determine his or her preferred communication style, the work ethic, ability to prioritize and complete the work? How will I know that? Likely I'm going to need to do some kinds of assessment, which means there might be some kind of preference tool that I'm going to use with that individual and maybe with my team as a whole so that we can get to know each other better. Number 4, how much direction versus degree of autonomy does this new employee need from me? So how closely do they want to work with me? And number 5, do I see there is a need for any course correction with this employee? And if there is, then let's talk about it and let's do something about that. So in summary, there is no perfect one-size-fits-all recipe for your relationship with each employee. Remember, we've got all this diversity in our workplace. Our workplace of today is not at all anywhere close to what it was even 2 years ago. What I do know, though, is that employees need to know what's expected of them and what they can expect in return from us. That is the relationship that earns mutual trust and respect from each component's consistent behavior. My entire organizational development career has been focused on assessing and creating workplace culture and how to shift it from what's not working or not working well to what would be better and what works well. It's worthwhile, meaningful work. I'm passionate about it because retaining motivated employees should be our constant underpinning goal when it comes to meeting our customers' needs and therefore achieving our business results, which is actually success. Simply put, we lose focus on our own business goals when we become distracted with unhappy employees and the effect of that unhappiness has on others, including our customers. Success breeds success. Paying attention to the culture distinguishes our business from our competitors. So this is easy to do. It's not short term, but consistently applied, we get longer term results. Thank you for watching this video of the multiple hats of the business owner and leader. If you would like to talk with me about how you can affect positive change within your business, please contact me through the Project Gazelle office. Their phone number is 780-875-5458 or their email projectgazelle, Gazelle with a 2, at albertacf.com. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So be the owner, be the leader that they aspire to be, and pay it forward. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.